Hello everyone, and welcome to our fascinating journey into the world of cells. Today, we're exploring a fundamental concept, diffusion, the movement of substances from higher to lower concentration. This simple process is vital for life, from how you smell your food to how your body breathes. We'll start with the basics, then dive deeper into its mechanisms, biological importance, and even its applications in medicine and engineering. Get ready for an insightful exploration. Let's begin our easy journey into diffusion. We'll understand what it is, how it works, and see it in action all around us. So, what exactly is diffusion? Imagine a crowded room, and suddenly, there's more space. People naturally spread out, right? Diffusion is just like that. It's the movement of tiny particles, like gas molecules or sugar, from an area where there are lots of them, a high concentration, to an area where there are fewer, a low concentration. These particles are always moving randomly, bumping into each other, and this natural spreading continues until they're evenly distributed throughout the space. It's a fundamental process, happening all the time, everywhere. You experience diffusion every day. Think about when someone sprays perfume in one corner of a room. Soon, you can smell it across the entire room. That's diffusion. Or when you put a tea bag in hot water, the color and flavor slowly spread out. The smell of delicious food cooking in the kitchen eventually reaches other parts of your house. All these are perfect examples of diffusion in action. The best part? This entire process happens naturally, without needing any extra energy from you or the system. It's truly a passive movement. Now, let's test your understanding with a few simple questions. First, how would you define diffusion in your own words? Second, can you give two everyday examples where you observe diffusion happening around you? And finally, does diffusion require energy from the cell or system? Think about the examples we just discussed to explain your answer. Pause the video if you need more time to think. Ready to deepen your knowledge? In this medium level, we'll explore the how and why of diffusion in more detail and its critical role in living organisms. At this level, let's understand diffusion more deeply. It's the net movement of particles, meaning the overall direction is from high to low concentration, even though individual particles move randomly. This movement is powered by the particles' own kinetic energy, their constant, inherent motion. They keep moving and spreading until a dynamic equilibrium is reached. This means particles are still moving, but there's no overall change in concentration. The difference in concentration between two areas is called the concentration gradient, and a steeper gradient makes diffusion happen much faster. Several factors significantly impact how fast diffusion occurs. A steeper concentration gradient means more particles are available to move out of the high concentration area, so diffusion is faster. Higher temperatures give particles more kinetic energy, making them move and spread quicker. A larger surface area allows more particles to cross simultaneously, increasing the rate. Conversely, if the distance particles need to travel is shorter or the barrier is thinner, diffusion happens faster. And finally, smaller molecules generally diffuse more quickly than larger ones, as they can navigate through spaces more easily. Diffusion is incredibly important for life. In our lungs, oxygen diffuses from the air we breathe into our blood, where its concentration is lower, and carbon dioxide diffuses out from the blood into the air. This gas exchange is vital for respiration. Similarly, some nutrients from our digested food diffuse into our bloodstream, and waste products like urea diffuse out of our cells to be carried away. Remember, diffusion is a passive process. It doesn't need the cell to use energy. This is a key difference from active transport, which does require energy to move substances against their concentration gradient. Time for some medium-level questions. First, what is a concentration gradient and how does it affect the rate of diffusion? Second, list 3 factors that influence how quickly diffusion occurs. Third, explain the role of diffusion in gas exchange in the human lungs. Fourth, how is diffusion fundamentally different from active transport? And finally, why would increasing the temperature generally increase the rate of diffusion? Take your time to formulate thorough answers. Now, let's elevate our understanding. The hard level explores the molecular mechanism of diffusion and its quantitative aspects. Diffusion is not just about particles spreading, it's a direct consequence of the constant, random thermal motion of molecules, often called Brownian motion. Imagine countless tiny particles moving randomly, colliding with each other. While individual movements are chaotic, the net effect is that particles move from where there are more of them to where there are fewer. This continues until the concentration is uniform, achieving a dynamic equilibrium where molecules still move, but there's no net change in distribution. Conceptually, Fick's first law of diffusion tells us that the rate of diffusion is directly proportional to the surface area and the concentration difference, and inversely proportional to the distance they need to travel. This law helps us understand how efficiently substances move. Diffusion plays sophisticated roles across biology. During cellular respiration, oxygen diffuses into mitochondria, and carbon dioxide diffuses out. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide diffuses into plant cells. Critically, in our nervous system, neurotransmitters diffuse across the tiny gap between nerve cells, called the synaptic cleft, enabling communication. Our capillaries, designed with extremely thin walls and a vast surface area, optimize diffusion for nutrient and waste exchange between blood and tissues. Even the kidneys rely on diffusion for filtering waste products. These are just a few examples of diffusion's profound biological importance. It's essential to clearly distinguish between diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion is the general movement of any particles, solutes, or solvents from a high concentration to a low concentration. It can happen in gases, liquids, or solids, and doesn't always need a membrane. Osmosis, however, is a specific type of diffusion. It exclusively involves the movement of water molecules, the solvent, and it always occurs across a selectively permeable membrane star. Water moves from an area of high water concentration, which means low solute concentration, to an area of low water concentration, or high solute concentration. Both are passive processes, driven by concentration gradients, but osmosis is specialized for water. Let's tackle some harder questions. First, describe the molecular basis of diffusion, explaining how random particle motion leads to net movement. Second, conceptually explain Fick's first law of diffusion and identify the factors it considers. Third, beyond gas exchange, provide 2 other specific examples of diffusion's importance in biological processes. Fourth, differentiate between diffusion and osmosis, highlighting their key distinctions and similarities. Fifth, why is the diffusion distance inversely proportional to the rate of diffusion? Sixth, explain dynamic equilibrium in diffusion. And finally, how does surface area impact diffusion efficiency in biological systems? Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we'll delve into the quantitative laws, complex biological roles, and real-world engineering and medical applications of diffusion. Our understanding of diffusion is built on deep scientific foundations. It began with Robert Brown's observations in 1827 of pollen grains jiggling randomly in water, a phenomenon now known as Brownian motion. While Brown didn't fully grasp the cause, his work provided crucial empirical evidence for the kinetic theory of matter, the idea that all particles are in constant, random motion. Decades later, in 1905, Albert Einstein provided the definitive mathematical explanation for Brownian motion, attributing it to the incessant collisions with rapidly moving fluid molecules. This theoretical breakthrough cemented the molecular basis of diffusion and paved the way for quantitative analysis of transport phenomena. The quantitative behavior of diffusion is precisely described by Fick's laws. Fick's first law, J equals minus d times dc by dx, describes steady-state diffusion. Here, J is the diffusion flux, representing the amount of substance moving per unit area per unit time. D is the diffusion coefficient, a crucial constant that depends on temperature, viscosity, and particle size. dc by dx is the concentration gradient. The negative sign simply indicates movement down the gradient. Fick's second law, a partial differential equation, goes further, describing how concentration changes over time due to diffusion. These laws are indispensable tools for scientists and engineers to predict and model diffusion in diverse systems, from biological cells to industrial reactors. Diffusion's role in biology extends far beyond basic gas exchange. Consider the remarkable efficiency of our lungs, where the vast surface area of alveoli and the thin walls of capillaries are perfectly engineered to maximize A and minimize dx in Fick's law, optimizing oxygen and carbon dioxide diffusion. In the nervous system, while electrical signals transmit rapidly, the communication between neurons relies on the diffusion of neurotransmitters across the synaptic cleft. Our kidneys utilize diffusion for filtering waste products from the blood, driven by concentration gradients. Even drug distribution in the body, ensuring medicines reach target tissues, heavily depends on diffusion through various biological barriers. From cellular homeostasis to systemic functions, diffusion is a silent, yet powerful, orchestrator of life. The principles of diffusion have profound applications in medicine and engineering. In healthcare, dialysis machines mimic kidney function, using diffusion across a semi-permeable membrane to remove waste products from a patient's blood. Controlled drug release systems, such as patches or implants, leverage diffusion to deliver medication slowly and steadily over time. In materials science, diffusion is fundamental to processes like doping semiconductors to alter their electrical properties, or in metallurgy for case hardening, where carbon atoms diffuse into the surface of steel. Industrial membrane separation technologies also rely on differential diffusion rates to separate gases or liquids. Understanding and harnessing diffusion is key to innovation in countless fields. Let's tackle some advanced questions. First, how did Brownian motion observations and Einstein's work contribute to our understanding of diffusion? Second, state Fick's first law and explain each term. Third, how are alveoli and capillaries optimized for gas exchange according to Fick's law? Fourth, describe another specific biological process where diffusion is critical, detailing gradients. And fifth, explain the difference between steady-state and non-steady-state diffusion, identifying which of Fick's laws describes each. Take your time, these questions require a deeper understanding. Continuing with our challenging questions. Sixth, detail to distinct medical or engineering applications that directly utilize diffusion principles. Seventh, why is diffusion much slower in liquids than in gases? Relate to molecular interactions. Eighth, for targeted drug delivery, how would molecular size, tissue viscosity, and blood flow influence diffusion? Ninth, discuss diffusion's role in maintaining cellular homeostasis, focusing on ion or small molecule movement. And finally, if temperature increases, how does this affect the diffusion coefficient and rate of diffusion, providing a molecular explanation? Good luck with these thought-provoking questions. And that brings us to the end of our comprehensive exploration of diffusion. We've journeyed from its basic definition to its intricate molecular mechanisms, profound biological significance, and cutting-edge applications. We hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for this fundamental process that underpinning so much of life and technology. For more such engaging and in-depth educational content, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Keep learning and keep exploring.